So we're going to walk through a box called Active. Now Active relates to Active Directory. It's one of my favorite machines on Hack the Box because of this. So Active lives at 10.10.10.100. And I want you to go ahead and boot up your machine, log into Hack the Box if you're going to follow along. So this is going to be kind of a two-part video. The first part, I'm going to show you how we scan and enumerate this machine, what we're looking for when it comes to GPP. And then the second part is just going to be a bonus. We're going to actually have to priv-esc this machine, and we're going to figure out how we're going to priv-esc this machine based on an attack that we've already done in the past in this course. So once you're all loaded up here, go ahead and go into your terminal and get scanning. So this one lives at 10.10.10.100. And I'm just going to make this a quick scan, nmap, and then we'll just do, I'm actually going to do a T5 on 10.10.10.100. And this should pull back pretty fast on the ports, what we're going to be after. And so what we're going to do here is, you can see that we are running a domain. So when we scan against a domain controller, we expect to see something like 53 open, and that could be a router as well. But we also expect to see 88 open because 88 is Kerberos and it's running Kerberos on that port. So that kind of tells us, along with LDAP and LDAP Secure or LDAP SSL. So now we kind of have an idea that this is probably a domain controller based on all the things that we're seeing here. So on top of this, we have 445 open. So we want to enumerate 445 on this machine. And we're going to take a look at 445 for this attack. Why are we looking at 445? Because the attack involves utilizing SMB. And in SMB, when you connect to it, there are sysvol folders, right? Let's take a look. This will be easier. So we'll just say SMB client, and we'll do a -L to list this out. And I'll go ahead and just say 10.10.10.100. We'll take a quick look at this and we'll try anonymous connection here. And you can see that there are different folders. There's the admin, a C folder, IPC, netlogon, replication, sysvol, and users. Now we can try to connect to each one of these, but it's going to deny us access to all of these. However, there is this replication folder where we do have anonymous access as no user, right? So we're just going to say replication, enter this in, and we have access to this machine. And I'm kind of speeding along here just so that we can get through this and we can actually work on the machine itself with the exploit itself, as opposed to working on methodology and why we're doing this. The exploit is more related to SMB than it is enumerating. So this isn't a walkthrough box more so than showing you the exploit. So the way sysvol works is it's storing this groups.xml file. And in that groups.xml file is where you find that C password. And this is where that GPP, that group policy preferences, came into play. And so let's go ahead and I'm going to turn prompt off, which is just going to, if I could type it, which is just going to tell us not to prompt when we tell it to download all of our files. So what I'm going to say is I want recurse on. So recurse on means it's going to download all the files that I tell it to. So if we ls here, you can see there's a bunch of different folders and files in here. And there's actually, you can see there's a groups.xml, and this is kind of what we're going to be interested in. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say mget star like this, and this is going to get all the files. And as we see these come across, we can know if we're interested in anything. We see this gpe.ini, we see groups.xml, a registry.policy, gpt template.inf. So we're really interested in this groups.xml, and this is something to notate. Groups.xml is the file you're looking for when it comes to GPP. Now, you don't have to do this. Again, there is the GPP enumerate when it comes to Meterpreter, or if you want to use PowerShell, there are PowerShell scripts out there as well. I believe one is called invoke GPP, and that'll search through the sysvol for you as a user and look for this exploit. So in this situation, I should note too that we had anonymous access to this replication folder. That's not a realistic scenario. This is most definitely a post-exploit scenario where we have a user account. Once we have that user account, we'll be able to access that sysvol folder. Okay, so from here, we see that we have this groups.xml. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go to Files, and we are here in active.htb. It should download to that. And we can just kind of look where it went. So it went policies, 3.1b. So we're gonna go to 3.1b folder, and then we're going to go to preferences or machine preferences groups. And there's the groups.xml. So this is why I also did the mget star, is so that we can see what came through, and we don't have to just sit there and CD and navigate around just to see if there's something in a folder or not in a folder. It's much easier just to download everything and look through what comes through. So when we come into here and we open this up, you can see now that we have our C password. On top of this, we have active.htb, which is the domain name, and we have service ticket granting service, TGS. That should ring a bell, right? Ticket granting service. So this is the TGS account. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna copy this bad boy here, and we can go right into, let's just go ahead and go to a new tab, make this bigger, and we could just say something along the lines of GPP decrypt, paste that in just like that. And look what happens. GPP still standing strong, 2K18. So that's the password. Look how long this password is. It doesn't really matter, right? What matters here is that we are able to reverse or decrypt this GPP because we know the encryption. So here we now have a username and a password. We have active.htb, service TGS, and the password of GPP still standing strong, 2K18. So I'm going to pause the video here, or I'm going to actually cut the video off. This is going to be considered part 1. Part 2 is going to be a challenge to you. We can now go log in with this account, and you're going to find that when you log in with this account, you are actually a lower level user. This account is not a high level user. This is not a system, okay? So because this is not a system level user, what is an attack that we can run on this to try to escalate? And you can use anything and everything that has been taught to you so far. Once you think through it, think if you find the answer, go ahead and attempt it. If you're just watching and not following along with the Hack the Box, that's okay as well. Just go ahead and meet me in the next video and we'll cover this. So brief review as well. We are after the GPP, right? The groups.xml. This is an older exploit. We're targeting Windows 2012, Server 2012, usually with these. And you're going to see these in environments. When you come across it, it's going to look pretty much like what I showed you. It's going to be something like this, where you either get the username and the password right off the bat with Meterpreter, or you're going to run something along the lines of invoke GPP, and you're going to try to search for that as well via PowerShell module. But this is what you're after, and this is what you're decrypting here with that password. So now we've got a username and password. How are we going to abuse this? I love this machine, so I'll meet you over in the next video with the solution.